Now let's understand relationship to frequency at a more intimate level that you have not considered. You are a relationship to everything now. It is a fathomable, plausible, delectable idea. It has many ways you can view that statement. And that statement right there is a potential for you to experience. And that's the constant change of the now, and that's how reality works. You are a relationship to your experience. That's it. Now, we have defined the ego. We have taken you on many adventures to explore this portion of you. It is as simple as a relationship to the now, to reality. It needs no other gifts, givings. It needs nothing of grandeur nor depletion. It is the simplicity of life that is. Anything beyond that is a change of relationship to a particular now, an idea that was just presented. Whether it's presented in a time fashion of a memory, which is now, a probable future, which is now, or the now that you are choosing not to use those delectable ideas of time. It really doesn't matter how you get the experiences, to be noted that you are getting an experience. So let's look at this intimately. I want you to understand from a egoic structure, we're going to fine-tune some more ideologies about personality, persona, and relationships therein. You have an anger, you are personality. It is said from a concept of human psyche that you are this out there as well. You have it in your viewships. You have polarity that masked beyond humanity all the time. No one knows truly if you think about it. When you think about it, you must use human, so of course the results will be humanistic. What happens out there in a relationship to the now? What happens as your whole self? What happens as the self that doesn't define itself as of any particular incarnation? Well, that's going to be up to you, isn't it? It's always up to you. This persona that you are is a relationship to reality that needs no identification. Identification bursts a self-awareness as an image. Let's look at that, because this is exciting for you. That noticeability by the conscious self, noticing itself as an image, changes its relationship to the frequency that is current. Always. Let's use an example in the class before some of you came in. Roxy is conversing with Nargiza, who is currently in Jerusalem, a very holy place. Vibrationally, you can feel it. But it's not Jerusalem that makes it feel vibrationally high, as she stated. It's not Jerusalem. It's the psyche. It's everyone's relationship to that offers a specific vibrational intact truth. And each, let's say, perceiver of a Jerusalem psyche, created world, with all its histories, is translated by each individual for their own individual experience. And if you are open, you will feel the differentiation measured in a polarity mind. So therefore, she made the statement, it is a higher vibration. In differentiation or in opposition to New York. Not that higher or lower in good or bad, just a difference. Well, New York is its own world. You know when you're in New York. I could blindfold you and travel you there and tell you no inkling where you are. And eventually, with a few moments, the sounds, the vibration, the smells, even if you've never been there, you would know you're in New York because the psyche, and you are attuned, is screaming New York City, isn't it? You can feel it. So it is an idea of a representation Now, if you are in glamour of yourself, you're looking at yourself as an image in New York, then you're going to have a particular experience that will constitute a personality. Can you find a self that looks at itself no longer? This entire class has taught you to observe yourself. We are showing you your egoic structure unrecognized. Now recognition in and of itself gives you a new relationship to the particular now that you are encompassing. That's the change that is constant, that is the scary, that cannot be validated except in time. The now offers the beauty of it, doesn't it? Scary is truly unknown. What's scary about the now? It's never been scary. Time is relevant to scary. Time is a observation. An observation gives a certain thrust of vibrational match, which gives you a particular experience, and you can see it through an observation point of view. You can see it through a persona point of view. You can see it through an egoic structure. There are so many ways you get to view reality now, and it is chaotic. We'll have no way to grab it and hold it. Your mind is running away with you. And it is a scary thing in time. This personality that you know yourself as, and you're starting to understand, like Brent's personality with his complex about his image, is a way to relate to himself. See, he sees himself as this, and then he goes over there and looks at himself as that, and then he takes these people over here from this point of view, validating this point of view, and wondering what they're going to think about him as this, while he's over here looking at all of it. Now, don't tell me that's not godly. Don't tell me that's not beautiful, that you have that ability. But when you place value from a measurement scale into any points of view, it will sustain a certain known, because that's all you know in that world of time. You have the ability to allow people to see you as is. Let's look at Jerusalem. Do you think Jerusalem is concerned if it is a high or a low vibration? If it is considered holy or not? Do you think Jerusalem, the psyche of Jerusalem, is upset how you feel about it? It's not noticing how you feel about it. That's where we want to go today, don't we? I think we want to go there. I think the vibrational potential for us is to travel into a personified world where it doesn't notice how relationship to reality, doesn't notice how relationship and reality, everything around you, is seeing you. As you have any concern about how you're being viewed any longer, your awareness doesn't know itself because there's no need to know itself. It only knows itself as an experience that is reflected. But since you have created an experience that has a self that is observed, and you can observe yourself from the self, that creates its unknown self, and it is not aware of itself, and then knows itself through observation of that unknown self. Masterful, chaotic, can't map it, can't get a hold of it, don't want to, do you? Don't need to is truth. All you are is a relationship to the now. Everything else you add on in your greatness is an experience of feel good. But the unaware persona of itself and its images that it creates, has created, will create, shall create, as is in the now, once that is extinguished, what happens to that persona unaware? It becomes unimed with the one. completely. Because there's no understanding how it is in comparison, relationship to creation. It is a sequential, tiny, symbiotic now, knowing itself only one way, as a reflection. All of creation is reflected back as this experience. And then you have no way to observe yourself through the eyes of others, through the way the world perceives you, which changes your relationship with yourself. It must, because you have a command of measurement that has been bestowed upon you many times in the references of good and bad, dependable, unreliable, untrusting, not punctual, hardworking. All these images with these tiny little words that really do create a relationship at such a truth mannerisms that you have never seen how your world is being created in truth. The truth is you, and now you see the you that you no longer need to value because you are already you. We spend a lot of time valuing the observation self. You want to know how you are doing. You want to know the relationship. You want to bitch and scream because that's how you keep yourself alive. But are you truly that self in effort to keep that self in effort alive? There must be someone keeping it alive. There must be an energetic truth chosen. That is not the self that is keeping the image alive. You must know that the image is when you engage in it as a polarity point of view, and as simple as that. But you always have been able to disengage it and become aware of yourself and ego. And that's an observer. You have that, you know these selves, but what about the self that is unaware of itself? If someone sees something in you, they make a claim. Can you view that claim, firstly, in kindergarten form, as indifference? But now if you want to be a master, can you see that expression through another and allow it to come in as its vibrational relationship of your truth without you noticing the way you're reacting? Creating an image about that experience, whether it's a polarized one or not, that is such indifference to you now. It is a reactionary self that can be plausible, that is within your world, because you are a divinicus and you have so many worlds to explore in a particular now, and you can go in so many different directions, yet you do not compliment yourself as of yet to accept that truth. Getting there, but that's an observation stuff. You're getting there, and you look at you, the you're that you are, and says, I'm getting there, and I am this, and but this that claims the I am is something that is unaware of itself. It doesn't need to be known what you are, because you are current. Anything that flails in the noticeability of past becoming, selves that you create becoming things, are noticed by the self, which creates a relationship to that self from a point of view to know thyself this way. Meanwhile, all of it going on is unaware because it knows thyself through the current of the now. Yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, it feels so good. See, you can come here and vibrate in a reality of truth as a fractal. And you did. And you've never forgotten yourself when you created the fractal, because the fractal knows it was created, and the creator knows it created itself as a forgotten self, right? And you can dive into this earth and be the and be the next Stevie Ray Vaughan, the next Nadia Comaneci, the next homeless, the next mass murderer, the next mom that has 7 children, the next dependable person. You can do any of these things on this planet, and it is unaware of itself, except the planet itself. The whole psyche creates an awareness of other than its unaware self. Is that not fucking masterful? But when you lock into the ego self, then you become meaning, definitions, time, relevance, futures, cause, effect, which is now understood as, oh, how can I hesitate in a world of such greatness? You have created such bliss, outstanding ways to feel unknown. Bringing it in and keeping it in time and reliving over and over the vibrational feeling, measured or unmeasured, it's no concern anymore. It's just that you have that ability now to be something other than unaware. Did you ever need to be aware of yourself? You only knew yourself as God does in reflection. Fundamentals. Existence doesn't know itself until it creates a reflection of itself. God knew not itself until it was aware of itself as a reflection. Created, birthed you, and now it knows itself in awareness, but it is still unaware of itself as a viewship. That was birthed in its own regal form, other than unaware. Humanity. You remember? Nanogisms. On. You are on and off as an on. Because you can look away from what you were and be what you are. And look away from what you are and choose what you were. You can dance this medley forever. You can rhythm it as a choice. Everlasting. Is the fractal suffering? Is the ego suffering? Is it happy? Is it hopeful? Is that the hopeful of the fractal or the ego? That's within the fractal. The fractal has its awareness to become understood. Compensated is a word that you would want the fractal to experience. Compensation for its journey into such pain and beauty. Roxy was filled with beauty when she viewed the idea of the fog, the morning mist that Tammy posted on Facebook. Because it brought back vibrational feelings of days in Virginia, the Blue Ridge Mountains, in the morning mist, upon fall, and it's turning beautiful. See, that's the self that knows itself in memory as an awareness of what it was from what it is to give itself that experience, and it can look at itself as that remembrance of glory. You've created awareness through other than an unaware self. This is all for you to let it in. It can't hurt you. You can feel pain though, I bet. The self that you've created cannot give you hope unless you want it. What's wrong with wanting hope? Now that you are aware of this self that you have created. Divinicus does not shy upon its tools. It does not extinguish portions of itself. It is a relative reality of its own truth. It is a relationship, and it does not hesitate to allow itself to become that unimed, that unified vibrational experience without delay, because it is knowing something, and it hasn't done a delay. It's already there. It is its truth. It can relate to it as a delay. It can hesitate. But Divinicuses choose not, because they know this is a way to experience from a new self, birthed in awareness of itself. And now you know from that self that you have created that you can choose to be this. You can choose to observe it. You can choose to take a translation of someone and put it on you, which changes your relationship with that now to another now, a new way to experience. But we want to further your education, if you will. We want to take you to the deeper ideas of relationship to the unaware self. So let's look at going to New York as opposed to Jerusalem. If you went to Jerusalem, and let's say Roxanne went in the physical form, would she raise eyebrows? Would it be something that is gawked upon? Well, of course, because she's out of bounds of the status quo of the psyche that is a high vibration. She disrupts the algorithm because her present vibration is a different idea. But if she sees herself as an image to that relationship, then she will change herself in relationship to that. It's not right or wrong, it's just truth. If she sees herself as a catalyst, it's not a catalyst. Because she views herself as a catalyst, which changes the catalytic form of its authentic truth it is in its natural. The unaware natural to experience what it is in absolute matching truth. But when you are aware of you being a catalyst, Roxy would go to Jerusalem and be an idea, and she saw herself as a catalyst, then that changes it and puts filters on it of a relationship of an aware self instead of the authentic unaware self. But both are authentic. Do not understand yourself in division while I'm speaking. Do not use polarity in unauthentic, authentic. It is a relationship to your awareness to see from your unaware self. Okay? So if she goes to New York, it's an easier time to fit in polarity measurements because there's no more acceptability. So what happens? She doesn't have such a concern to vast upon herself an image. She's natural. And what is coming back to her in reflection, she filters not. They see her as trans, they see her as an angel, they see her as whatever they see her as. She doesn't react through an observant self that images and accepts that image and places it on itself to have this reality. It wants to know the reality of unaware, the bliss of now, in its totality. See, these things, as Seth said, cannot be given in translation. We've opened the door. There is no giving this to you. It is an absolute acceptance of any and every now, to the best of your ability, if you want to put that, to have no ability to accept, to be unaware of yourself trying, being, using image as a way to conduct its life. In its simplest form, it will be known. Then you will know it as an unaware image, and the relationship will be unimaginable, because if you can imagine it, you must be creating an image of awareness to imagine. It's there. Otherwise, I couldn't talk about it, right? Doubt, scurry, life, love, horror, and pain, all selves of experience. The only way you can see this and use the time-based definitions with the emotions that match those definitions, giving the ego a structure of vibrational, emotional feeling, and have your experience. All of that is because you became aware of yourself as not being what you are unaware. Because the now is never, never not known and unknown. It is unaware and aware. There is no time there to notice the difference. You gave yourself time so you can slow down and see yourself. Damn. That's all I say. Damn. Good work. See it? Oh. There was a guy yesterday at Shake Shack, Roxy's and Tom's little hamburger joint that is exceptional. One of the workers there is a nice fella, expresses his truth, cleans up the table, offers the tray, refills, stuff like that. Exceptional service for one in servitude of itself. After leaving, he states, "Have a blessed day." No reaction from Roxy. Oh, no reaction. Immediately sees itself. Huh? That it did not influence egoically as an image. It didn't react its feedings. And this is a self that is unaware of itself, but it is the ego self that knows not itself as an awakener, as an observer of both worlds. You see how fucking masterful this planet is? So this truth gets an idea of itself and looks at itself as it did not get what it summoned, feedback. So this image creates a reaction and it repeats as its hope. Have a blessed day. Roxy gives and says, "Is there any other way?" Which of course gives him, I love that look. Some people, deer in the headlight lost. No, puppy dog, huh? Is there any other way? That's the self that Roxy was. Now, let's look at Roxanne's. The first she heard, right? So then there's a moment, instantaneous, large moment. You could stop it and live in eternity in this split second and observe everything that's going on, which you can, by the way. Yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can. So she heard and then observed whether she should offer. And the unaware self has already chosen. And Roxy reacted to the choice. It's not a yes or no. That's the discipleship of distraction. No, 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 no. It's vibration that must be felt already. The reactionary mind can react. It can observe, but where do you place your value of yourself? Do you place it in the self of reaction? The self of response, which is the new observer self you created so you can see the reactionary self and the unaware self? Or is the action unaware of itself? Ooh, baby, it's getting thick in here. Yeah. You guys want to be masters? Well, welcome to it. You're doing it. You're fucking doing it. Yes, you are. And I bet if you have a sharp mind, you can tell when Roxy's channeling changes in the moment where she's putting her value of herself. I bet you can now too. So when they said it the second time, she just accepted her truth and spoke the words, unnoticed. The first time she reacted, the second time she didn't even respond, she was. In the moment, if we all travel back there, it would have been she is. Because she didn't notice herself as a particular way to relate to the reality. She was just unaware. Oh, I'm very aware of myself. Did you notice? I like me. I do. I'm funny. I'm cute. I'm adorable. I'm obtuse. I'm loud. I'm structured. And I'm disciplined. And I'm also disciple. I'm whatever I am. And see, I get to do this and this. I get to be aware and aware again of the aware that is unaware. It's confusing to a mapped mind of logistics, sense and sensibility. Now listen, I want to say to all the scientists and astronauts and go-getters of the world, and I just use that because that is a real fucking discipline to become a space traveler in such a time. You are the birthing footsteps of humanity's space exploration. Very exciting. But I use that because it takes a lot to get into that world. I want to give my thanks, my absolute kudos to the human adventure of law, order, achievements, education, imagery to become. Its reliance on outside sources to feel good and allow those same sources to crush its soul into oblivion as a perspective of failure, doomed, cast out, rised up, cultivated, extreme emotions. To humanity, you are true masters in my relationship. Others is not a concern. Question is it a concern for you whether you are a master or not? Because the unknown master is already. It doesn't seek itself. It is already known. Yes, it is. I believe it's tea time. You can see something about me. I'm going to talk about myself because I can. Another reality is I can't talk about myself. I have no way to talk about myself, to know myself as a self to talk about. Wow. Who has a fantasy about themselves? I want you to listen, and I want one of you to be brave and speak up. In the chat, raise your hand or just unmute yourself. Here's what I'm looking for because I am playing time. I'm a relationship with time from a certain particular burst self of awareness that has a validated concept of time, and I'm going to employ it. Okay? Good. I want you to become something of an image, a fantasy, a self you know you want to be. Use the thinking mind to realm itself within the human context and what is possible, and then reach for that image and then tell me who that is. Who that is. Anyone wants to volunteer, let me know. I got eyes now. Thank you, Roxanne. A superhero, for God's sakes. Something of that nature. Someone raise their hand. Daphne. Thank you, my God. Go ahead.
I want to become a mom.
A mom.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Very good. Mute yourself. So look at that, okay? Let's look at the mom image. The mother must have children, whether they are birthed naturally or they are adopted in your world of laws, but she can mother instinct is what it is. And there is still a defining definition that if it's not birthed from you, it is not your child. Any relationship that is truth becomes that in validity. Any depletion of that validity is the self-aware of itself as a structure that is measured that has the ability to deplete it. In other words, you're already a mom, even if it's your child or not in the physical sense. But if you believe that it must be in the physical sense, then you would deplete your relationship as a mom. Because it's only a truth from an unaware self, and the absolute authenticity is 100% each and every time until you, as an observer of that, deplete it with its relationship to it. Masterful. So she has that. Stand by. Ah, yes. She has that, right? On the hip. Ah, meet Paulette. So she has the child, and she carries it right here. And she holds the child, and she's now doing the act of mothering. She breastfeeds the child, she feeds the child in whatever way that she chooses. She holds the child and cuddles the child and envies for the child and instills her cultivation of unconditional love on the child. And whatever that cultivated awareness is becomes whatever it is in truth, whether it is a hope relationship of awareness, whether it is a fearful relationship of safety and security, it is cultivation into the vibrational match of each individual to know itself unmeasured. So she is now a mom. And that relationship. Now let's look at the quality of mothers. The quality in this reference. I beseech thee not to look at quality as in higher or lower. Leave your measurement polarity in your toolbox. Do not pull out polarity in this moment. Shh, quiet, church mouse. Okay, listen. If she can relate to her mothership as the quality of not knowing herself as a mother, then can you imagine her experience being a mother? And you can't. Now that is something to behold. Daphne, you'll have your mothership if you want it. When you know you are a mother, and it's not validated in the now with using time assets, then you know that experience vibration is already, that you are nurturing and cultivating a child in the now. And it doesn't have to be an experience of the physicality, but if you know it, and then you do not seek it as an image, then it must be attracted. You shall become pregnant, and you shall have a baby. But the only reason why you haven't is because you're afraid. You have an image that is waiting for everything to be perfect. Nothing is perfect because all is already perfect. Isn't that right? Yes, it is. Daphne, you want to be a mother. I want you to be a mother too. I want you to experience motherhood. It is a great experience. It is a self that is aware of itself as a mother. Exponentially, it knows itself not as a mother in its own unaware self. It can create an observer self that looks at itself as a mother and then measures itself as good or bad or indifferent. It is a world to explore. But I want you to know this. When that child is looking at you, I swear to you, it knows you're its mom without your trying to be it. Now, if you can accept yourself as an unaware mother because your child is present, but not knowing it as because I have a child, which defines me as a mom, then you'll be the mother that you have always wanted to be. And you'll know it intimately and personally and without cause or effect of giving it any justification in anyone's world. Yes. Look at the eyes on Paulette. Is that not gorgeous? She has such eyes. She looks at you when she's here, and she's like, hi. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. She's got stars on her ears. Isn't that pretty? She's so pretty. She created herself as this, you know? This is a way to be. Isn't that right? Yes, it is. So you understand. If someone comes up to you and they see you as something, why do you need to change it? It's not changing their point of view. It's changing yours. Now that you are defined as a way to relate to reality in vibrational feeling, you know these things now. This is a new way to be. You can define yourself as an observer. Then you can most certainly understand your relationship as you image yourself and no longer image yourself as a reaction to the way the world sees you. Talk about unconditional. Yes. Paulette's married. You want to meet the spouse? Okay. George. George. Oh my God. Interracial marriage. Oh, but it's not a race. It's a species. It's even worse. Oh. Oh. There's their children. Here's Bunny. And here's Mischief. Yeah. They find him, you know. Roxanne, Tom. They just go about their nows, and then he's like, can I see my parents? And Roxy goes, yeah, Mischief. Let's go home. Because Paulette wanted to be a mom. Doesn't matter how she got the baby. That's an awareness, a relationship. It's an image. Isn't it that she has a baby? That she has a family? Why does the now need to be judged in occurrences of time? Because you can, because you are aware of that self-creating, and you are aware that you can or cannot create that self by choice. And now you know of the unaware self. So our job is done. La 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 la. They have a dog. His name is Bluesy, and he's red. Alf is adopted. You all remember Alf. So we have no cats in the house because we would know what happened there for your Alfers. So, all right. I think that's all we have. Is there a good time? It's about 12. Almost 12 o'clock. Do you have any questions? But before you ask, the relationship that I am now, go back and watch and see how I change, because Roxanne changes. She relates differently. Not on purpose, as a natural. That could be purposeful because she can. It can be unknown because she can. And now you are experiencing the relative reality through a vibrational experience of what we're talking about. You can feel it. Just don't know it, because then you'll clamp it down into its box of time. Questions, anybody? Jennifer Bellis.
Hi.
Hello, you look tired. My goodness, did you just wake up?
Yes.
You had a gymnastic workout, I see.
Oh, stop it.
With a Power Ranger, no less.
Oh my God. Okay, that's enough. So I understand now that what I'm doing is now noticing my reaction to an awareness that has been chosen already
In time.
in time.
That's where you can see it. You can't see it in the now, but you have to use time in order to see it, which is an asset, okay? Don't get mad at it. Very good.
So, I mean, that makes everything so much easier and so much more effortless, because the polarization is the part that decides it's good or bad, and that's what we've been trying to change. When if you just notice whatever is the reaction, it has to be bliss because it's an in the moment unknown.
Sure. But can you have the discipleship to allow that to speak to you without the reactionary self filtering it down into a measurement scale? Not at first, but if you keep going in time, you can see it gets easier as you go along, and then your experience will be that of indifference, and then your experience will be that of unknown. It'll be
That's,
just
yeah. I think that's what, at least for me, a lot of the things now that don't matter as much, because I've had the reaction so many times and I've seen it, it's depleting
they
to
grow
where now
old.
right now it speaks different things to me.
If you guys had access to anything you wanted to be on the planet, would you? I mean, you didn't have to go to school to be an astronaut. You were already schooled, and you would just show up, and they would know who you are, and they would give you a suit, and off you went. Maybe be a colonized on the Mars idea. They need to colonize the moon. I wish they'd hurry up and do that. Duh. Anyways, see,
So now
you can do that. That's what you have access to. But you can't do it in the physical sense without the belief systems of an aware self that says, I'm not this, and I don't have the proof, and that is a way to live. So you are the unaware self having that experience. And the unaware self doesn't measure it, it is it. And now
right.
you're shifting your relationship to the change, aren't you? The constant.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Now you
So now
have that.
basically, I mean, everything's a lot freer. It's that choice that's initially been made, not even going into where it comes from, but you go about your now, things just show up. And because you don't have this polarized way of going back and forth with it, you let it happen, and stuff shows up that you haven't even really physically in your mind thought about. It's just
Of
within your
course
own
not. That's how you guys got to Earth. You think you really thought about coming here? You are here because you attracted that truth as an unaware self to be and create a self that is aware of itself outside of itself, and then create selves inside of this whole world. Look at you. Image right, image left. Yes, no, I'm this, I'm not that. And then you can observe all of those selves being this and that, and not this and not that. from an observer point of view, which you can turn around and look back on and look at me observing myself. It's endless. But now you know yourself as unaware. And that self cannot be observed, because as soon as you observe it, you place your own identity on the unaware self, so you can have an awareness about it. Booyah.
Oh wow.
I know. I know.
Okay. I know. That's very, very, very cool.
Oh, Fonzarelli.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. You didn't like my Fonzie?
No, I did like.
You put a little leather on me, and you did the A with me, and then you go, oh, okay. I felt a dweeb relationship there.
Okay, I've had my fill with nerds lately, so.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All of you use your imagination and know her relationship to Nerdbot.
Oh, come now.
Oh, we did. All right. Anything else? Anybody? Okay. I love me. I'm not having a good time, nor am I having a bad time. And the time I'm having is a relationship of such intimacy and internal known experience that cannot be defined unless I create an image that has the ability to define it as something to relate to you on how I'm feeling, which of course is going to be individualized from the receiver of that their own way. I can never control how anyone sees me. You must know this, because this is the reason of diversity. This is how we are forever unknown.